this is why it's important to have boundaries. Like places, people, you gotta have boundaries. You sometimes have to have boundaries for the other person. Like sometimes people will sacrifice themselves for love, for attention, for affection, like for sex. Like it's like you have to know what kind of person you're messing with, so you don't like kind of mess them up. You got to think about the other person as well. Like it's not only about you when you're in the bedroom. You're not just affecting yourself, you know. I just think he was cruel. That's how it came off to me, because it's like you have to be really emotionally inept or like have really low empathy for people to see people who love you, like women who love you and are like willing to throw their respect, their morals and boundaries aside to be with you. Because one of the people that the Veronica girl that had told me about their hookup, they were friends for years, and I think they had like a lot of emotional affairs, like because they were friends for years before having intercourse. So like I'm just thinking like you guys are messed up for even doing that with each other, because you know how many people they lie to about being just friends too. Like that's that stench that I'm talking about, that spiritual stench where it's like you're leaving loose ends everywhere. You're like categorizing people as friends who are very obviously not trying to be your friend. And I'm not saying it's all his fault too. Like let me back up off Roger for a minute. You women, let me talk to the girls. Y'all be lying to yourselves. I'm gonna tell you again for the people in the back. Y'all be lying to yourselves when you go lay down with a man sometimes. Y'all do lie a little. And you'll pretend to be all right with situations in the bedroom that you're not really comfortable with, just so you can keep an attachment to that person. And that's wrong. That's wrong. Because not only are you compromising your own self-worth, but you're also compromising this other person, because in a way, because they lied. Okay, because let's put it like this, because Veronica lied to Roger about why she was sleeping with Roger when she wanted to sleep with Roger to get a deeper connection with him, because she desired him emotionally and she thought that was the way to connect with him, right? Because she lied about that being the real reason, Roger is now in a place where he's seen as a liar and a lustful loser to me and many other people that would look at the situation, at least from my perspective, or people who've seen her, Veronica, be adamant about his existence. I'll just say that she was, and there was another thing too, like they would hang out intimately together and they didn't have sex. So the boundaries, you see what I mean? Like the boundaries are destroyed. Like, never mind crossed, they were scribbled on like this over and over again. But because they're both ignorant and lustful, they didn't really care. They didn't really care how it would be perceived from anybody else, by anybody else. They didn't care because they just wanted to have sex with each other. So he's just a guy wanting to have sex, and she's just a girl wanting love, and bada bing bada boom. You know, that's usually what happens. And it's the worst way to have sex, I feel like. It's passionless. You leave feeling worse than when you got there. So much worse. Trust, I've done it before. But that's something you do in like, really got to get that out of your system. Like, I would say high school or early 20s. So yeah, maybe they did get it out of their system. But I don't think so, because they still continued with having like an emotional affair. Like after high school, Veronica was still like talking to him about other relationships. Like they went back to scribbling, you know what I mean? So they consummated. They should have stopped the relationship then, because that was the boundary that was crossed. That was the scribble. That was the scribble that fundamentally changed the relationship. They wanted to double back and pretend they didn't scribble all over the relationship. and the integrity and the sanctity of the relationship between each other. So like they're basically both cheaters. Actually, they're just cheaters. I'm like making this like a long-winded theological thing. They're just cheaters. We were just cheaters. It's cheating. Like they're emotional cheaters, and then that's how it always starts. I had saw some videos on TikTok not too long ago. I think earlier. What time is it? I'm gonna send these out. I want to post these today, so I'm gonna stop talking soon and lay my bed. Oh, this sticker's not working. Oh, it's because I keep putting it on my finger. Anyways, it was a talk about how, I guess, like how emotional cheating starts. And it was this girl, and she was talking about how she was like, she had met this guy and he had a wife, and she exchanges numbers with him, and then he starts opening up to her about his marital issues, and she's over there like, I put boundaries down because I just felt so uncomfortable. And everybody's like, you're not that uncomfortable, baby girl. You're not that uncomfortable. You would, if you had enough respect for yourself and the wife, you wouldn't have even given him your number. Like, there's just certain things you don't do when you respect people and yourself. Other than that, you're a cheater. You like cheaters. You like being a side chick. You like being the other woman. You're getting validation, knowing, like, it's a psychological thing. You get validation knowing that this man who has this loving relationship isn't satisfied, so he has to seek something outside of that, and you just feel so special because it's you. And then you're gonna feel even more special when you consummate. That's the structure of emotional cheating. That's the structure of every time anybody ever cheated. There is no negotiations about this. I am not negotiating about it. This is literally what it is to cheat. This is what happens before somebody starts cheating. This is what happens before this is just what happens before people start cheating. A boundary scribbled upon, right? Sanctity of somebody's relationship scribbled upon. Integrity scribbled upon. Okay, that's the first step to getting ready to cheat. After that, let's see. These are like little tiny ones that I'm getting frustrated by, so I'm regretting picking this one. And I'm talking about some tense ass topic too. Like, I'm thinking about all the times I got cheated on. I was like, oh, I hate that bitch. I fucking hate that fucking bitch. Because that's how it always starts. And it's a horrible feeling, like being on the receiving end. It's like, oh my God. And you say you're just a friend, and you say you're just a friend. Oh, baby, you got what I need, you got what you need. And you say you're just a friend, and you say you're just a friend. But baby, you got what you need. And you say you're just a friend. You can't be friends with somebody you know what their penis looks like. You can't be friends with somebody you know what they taste like. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. That's like against the law. Morally, ethically, against moral, ethical law. That's wrong. Immoral, unjust, unethical, whatever you want to fucking call it. It's sick. And you don't, like, some people don't realize that until they're the opposite end. You know, like, sometimes cheaters gotta get cheated on. And I think that what did I name her? Sophia? What did I name her? I don't think it was Sophia. The crazy one I was talking about in the beginning. I'm glad she cheated on him, because he was gonna cheat on her. That is my opinion. He was getting ready to cheat, 100%. He had that bitch on lock, and she was loaded. I'll tell you that. I know her. She always hot and ready to go. I know her well. She has no problem getting down and dirty with nobody. I wouldn't even put it past them to have had intercourse after the relationship ends. After me being around included. I don't think I was ever that relevant. I'm not saying like I held weight or anything like that. I'm just saying like I wouldn't have put it past. Oh my God, because I had a dream one time that happened. Not that it happened, but I had a dream that, oh shit, hold on, next video I'll tell you about my dream.